Hi traders, welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Thursday, the 5th of October. Here you can see CAD Yen topside day traders table. CAD Yen was a market that we spoke about in yesterday's video, as well as Aussie Yen, and we've just taken a position on Aussie Yen. So I'm going to go through that one in a moment. Obviously the dollar is still a stronger currency as well at the moment. It has given back a couple of a bit of those gains this morning, but we could potentially see that dollar strength continue going through the day. So I do like dollar CAD obviously as well. I have marked out a bit of a trade that you could have taken on dollar CAD. I wasn't around this morning. My internet has been down all morning. There just seems to be doing works on my road for whatever reason. So yeah, unfortunately internet was down this morning, so I didn't really get a chance to get on and have a little look. But here now, I'm going to take a look at Aussie Yen, CAD Yen, and see if there's any opportunity for us. But before we jump into that, we've got the slate today. There's nothing on the slate here that really should affect Aussie Yen. From a fundamental point of view, there's no Oz or Yen data out today. There was some Oz data out overnight. We had some trade balance news at 1:30 in the morning, that came out positive. But what we're really looking to see if that Yen strength will continue, basically, and see after that intervention if it will play out. There is the initial jobless claims at 1:30 p.m. That could be a high volatility event, so that could cause some swings, but it shouldn't really affect the price of Aussie Yen. So let's go take a look at that. Price has triggered into the move. Why were we looking at getting short here in the first place? Well, if we go up to the daily time frame and just zoom out, we had that intervention move where price fell from 95.36 down towards this 93 level. We've traded outside of this bullish channel. We also had a little bit of a pause yesterday, but that could have been down to the sort of after effects of this move that we saw yesterday, and we may get the continuation rolling into today. But you can see on the daily as well, if you look at the stochastic K below D heading towards that 20 area, which is something we like to add as a little bit of confluence. Ultimately, we are trading within a bit of a range. If we have a little look left here, you can see around about the 95.80 highs here. Price has been a little bit capped. Obviously, we did get the breakout, but it ended up being a false breakout. The area of 93 is interesting because it's been support in the past. So I want to see if price is going to come back down into that area. Going on to the lower time frames, then if I just go down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see here obviously big bearish move to the downside. What we spoke about was this 94.50 level. If I just go to see now hourly, actually you'll be able to see that in a bit more detail. The reason why I liked this zone in particular was just because of the consolidation that was there. So had a consolidation, price has moved down, we've slowly made our way back to the consolidation, and now I'm expecting to see a move continue into the downside. Stop loss is actually quite tight on this one. I've just gone above the high because I think if we trade through that high anyway, we don't really want to be in this position. So I'd expect the price to come all the way back up, maybe into the trend line resistance. So I don't really want to be in the position at that point. So we want to see price obviously trade to the downside. The one thing that I didn't like was the fact that price closed above this 50 SMA, but it has done that in the past. It kind of floats through it on Aussie Yen. Doesn't really always take the 50 into consideration there. The stochastic gave us a bit of a setup as well, K below D. So that's the reason why we kind of got involved with this. Hit the resistance level. Stochastic has kind of give us the position that I was expecting to see, or the conditions I was expecting to see. So that's why I quite like that one in there. Obviously, we spoke about CAD Yen yesterday. If you did take any positions on CAD Yen, they would have been fairly successful. I didn't get around to trading this, but this is what I would have looked at. I was actually looking at the 30-minute candlestick. We talked about the 109 area here, and after I did the video, I was watching and seeing price break to the downside. So I just put a little thing on here just to say, like, if I had limit ordered that area, what would have happened, and this is what would have happened. We would have actually had very minimal drawdown, depending on if spread allowed us to get into this, and that would have been a fairly successful trade. So didn't manage to catch that real world. It was just a little bit of a hope to see if we get back. To be honest, my alert was actually set at 109, and if we actually just put that alert back on, we didn't technically test it. So unfortunately, that alert didn't even go off. I was just watching this from sort of a half an hour basis to see how it would have performed. But it's still on our tables for further downside. We are at this 108 level now, though, so we do have to be a little bit careful. It could trade lower. Obviously, we've got the 107s in here. Perhaps even the sort of 106.75 could be something we look at in terms of price coming down towards this level. So something like that. If we do continue, obviously, to break down. I liked the 108 from the start of the week. It's just that intervention, or suspected intervention, drove price all the way to it in the first place. But it's still looking good for some downside. How do we get on the back of this move is something I'm starting to question. It may be a move sort of back into this area here with the 50 MA possibly, but we are very close to the 108 at that point. So I think Aussie yen, in terms of risk reward, has a little bit further to go than CAD yen does. That being said, price may not turn here, it may not go, it may come back up, may try another sort of bite to get above this high. We'll have to wait and see on this one. So I'll just give you an update probably on an hour-to-hour basis on that one. Other markets of interest then. So dollar CAD was on there as a point. Obviously, we spoke about dollar CAD previously, breaking above this daily area of resistance. I like the idea of price coming up to 138.50. We broke out of this trend line resistance. We broke above 137 previous highs that formed here on the 8th of September. So I like the idea of being long. Unfortunately, because my internet was down, I wasn't around to see this entry, but this is kind of everything that's met with the criteria here that we're looking at. We had consolidation, a breakout, prices come back down to retest that consolidation in here. We've got the 50 SMA running through there as well. Prices rejected that, closed above it. We also have the stochastic in line as well, with the K above D crossing above that 20 area. So unfortunately, that formed at 7 a.m. I didn't get to see that because of my internet being down. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah, I'll be looking to target 138.50. The only thing I think we can do now is look for another entry. If price comes all the way back down, maybe another test of the 50, another confluence with the stochastic, then maybe we could look at getting long. Alternatively, lower time frames are probably where you're going to get your entry, but obviously you play with the lower time frame, you've got to be prepared for whipsawing effects on the price action. We also have that news coming up, so as well as this sort of initial jobless claims, we do have trade balance data out of CAD and PMI data out of CAD. So it may not be the best market to necessarily trade going into today's session, but that would have been a good entry this morning. We probably could have covered positions by now going into that news. So let's move on to another chart of interest. So obviously CAD, something that we've looked at in the past. CAD Swiss is on here as a potential option. Kiwi yen as well. Obviously you could look at Aussie US dollar, which we've looked at in the past. Aussie just getting a little bit of bullishness, but we are coming into that 163.50 resistance we've pointed out in the past. Nice 4-hour close below that level now. Is that going to be a helping driver for a bit of a move to the downside? Again, very similar to Aussie yen, to be honest. We've got sort of that breakout move, price coming back. Maybe something like this could be an option. I prefer Aussie yen because we've got the confluence from the tables on Aussie yen, as well as, I guess we have it on Aussie US dollar, but I mean, yen is a S1 on the day traders, which tells me there's a little bit more momentum behind the yen. If we go have a look at dollar yen, we did get that reaction from 150. I was expecting a little bit more downside here. We've actually come and tested the trend line support that came from this low from the 7th of August, anchored onto the 1st of September. Price has come back into that and rejected a little bit, which is something I did expect, because obviously the dollar's still very bullish at the moment. So, you know, there's also that to be made aware of as well. But doesn't mean that Aussie yen can't trade to the downside. So I'll keep an eye on this from an hour basis, and I'll keep you notified on Discord. If you're not in the Discord channel, then if you head over to your account, there'll be an area there where you can access the Discord. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.